Faith Harlow in a class by herself. Chapter 1. He could have called on anybody.
In what year was the 14th Amendment to the Constitution ratified?
There were 22 other kids in the classroom, and they all had their hands in the air. Zoe did. Matilda did. Larry did. Even Minky and Tinky Momo did. He could have called on one of them, right? Guess who he calls on?
Faith.
Mr. Smith always does this. He always calls on me when I don't know the answer. And he can tell I don't know it. Ever hear someone say that dogs can smell fear? That's Mr. Smith. He's like a dog. A big ugly nasty dog. I sort of scooch down in my seat. The whole class is staring at me. My ears start to burn, then my cheeks. I can feel tiny droplets of sweat bending up on my forehead.
Well?
What was the question again? I've heard that on an average day, you use about 10% of your brain power. Well, sitting here with my mouth turning as dry as a sack of sand, I need that 90% to kick in. My mind is blank. Mr. Smith steps away from the chalkboard and starts toward me. He looks mad. No, he looks worse than mad. He looks mean. His face is flushed. I brace myself. And then the buzzer goes off. And it beeps. And keeps on beeping. Except it doesn't really sound like the school bell. It sounds more like... I was dreaming. I let out a huge sigh of relief. I've never been so happy to hear my alarm go off in my entire life. Not that I'm ready to get up or anything. Closing my eyes again, I flop back down onto my pillow.
Time to go to school.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Way to break it to me gently. Brian Barkaston is my caretaker. I live with him, and it's pretty weird sometimes. Actually, his caretaking skills aren't that bad. He does pretty weird things, but he's pretty harmless. It's just that Brian's kind of clueless. He has no idea what it's like to be me. He can't remember what it's like to be an average 6th grader. Not that I'm an average 6th grader. Okay, I'll admit that I'm not exactly an honor roll. But answer me this, when I get out there in the real world, is anybody going to care whether or not I know who was the vice president under Warren G. Harding? The point is, I want to use my talents for more than just memorizing useless facts. I'm meant for bigger things. I am destined for greatness. I'm still not 100% sure what kind of greatness I'm destined for, but I'll figure it out. I've got options. I keep a list on my closet door about this very subject. There's also stuff I definitely want to achieve greatness in, like opera, synchronized swimming, and dog grooming. Enough said, let's get back to the unfortunate fact that today's a school day. But what kind? You know, not all school days are created equal. You can rank them by category. If I were to grade the different kinds of school days report card style, here's how they'd stack up. A+, field trip days. I'm not talking about lame field trips, when a teacher makes you walk around the neighborhood on Earth Day picking up trash. I'm talking about an all-day get on a bus and go somewhere field trip. Even if they give you a worksheet in the hope you might actually learn something, you can usually come up with an excuse not to do it. That's what I did last year when we went to the aquarium. A walrus ate my homework. B. Special event days. This is when classroom time gets eaten up by something better, like a movie or an assembly. Or better yet, some sort of emergency. Last spring, Mr. Trent's wig caught on fire and set off the smoke alarm in the faculty lounge. We got to evacuate the building and ended up playing frisbee on the lawn for an hour. I should be in math right now. That was awesome. For everybody except Mr. Trent, C-, substitute teacher days. I think we can all agree that subs are always better than the real teachers. By better I mean more clueless. The absolute best subs are the fresh out of college ones who have never taught a day in their lives. Frankly, they're not very bright. Or maybe they're just really gullible. D. Normal days. Unfortunately, most days are like this. You spend 6.5 action-packed hours studying subjects like photosynthesis and the War of 1812. Thrilling. You get home after school and your parent or caretaker asks,
What did you learn in school today?
And you think about it for a solid 10 seconds, and then you say, I don't have the foggiest idea. F. Train wrecks. There are so many ways for a school day to go wrong that it's almost impossible to list them all. You could get screamed at by a teacher, usually Mr. Smith, for absolutely no reason, which seems to happen to me a lot. You could get roughed up by a bully like Joyce, who looks like a goth leprechaun with green hair, or your teacher could nail you with a quiz or a test you never saw coming. Wait, test? Now there's a horrifying thought. Do we have a test today? I don't remember any teacher mentioning a test yesterday, but like I already told you, I don't remember much of anything they say. I usually start to lose interest right around the time I hear
Settle down, class.
settle down class in teacher speak means let the mind-numbing boredom begin.
Yak 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 yak. By the way, there's a test tomorrow. Yak 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 yak.
It's times like this I wish I paid better attention in class. Like Zoe Madison. Zoe. She'll know whether or not we have a test today. Here's the thing about Zoe, she knows just about everything. She takes school pretty seriously. The truth is, she's kind of geeky. I'm allowed to call her that because we're tight. We've known each other since the first day of kindergarten, when she started snoring during nap time. So I hit her in the head with my Hello Kitty lunchbox, and we've been best friends ever since. Let me see if she's up yet. Yup, she's up. And she's reading, of course, but, wait a minute. Look what she's reading, her social studies textbook. Oh no. So we must have a test today. This is bad. This is very bad. First, because my social studies textbook is in my locker at school, and second, I'm suddenly remembering what Mr. Smith said to me after our last test.
If you do poorly on the next test, Faith, you could very well end up in summer school.
Yipe. We've got social studies first period. That gives me 45 minutes to study my class notes. Class notes, class notes. Where are my class notes? Ah. Here they are. Uh-oh. I completely forgot that I drew cartoons all over my class notes. Well, it looks like my class notes aren't going to be much help. Not unless Mr. Smith gives us extra credit for doodling. I'm dead. End of chapter 1.